for you social media guys. Somebody eating at Slimans too. It's a chowing away.
All right, we'll go back to we're going to go to Slimans in a minute, and right now I want to go to Craig Lyndall from Waiting for Next Year. Craig, I don't. Did you see that?
Wow,
dude.
Yeah.
Angry Browns fan.
Yes.
I get that you're funny. I get it. I get it. Real men play guitars.
Oh,
all right, it's not just about lyrics. Play some music too, okay?
Hey, then you
stealing my bit.
Look, let's be honest, right? Inspiration for you there? Little Rush, little Neil,
little Tom Sawyer.
You with me on this?
I just don't appreciate that Angry Browns fans stealing my bit. I don't like it at all. Don't like it.
Well, you know, it'd be great to have you guys throw down once. I think that'd be great.
Or no, why don't you team up to do a Christmas album too?
That would be good. You could be on the album.
Outstanding, wouldn't it?
Teamwork.
That would be good.
I mean, check it out. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. See, I can actually play the songs. I'm just going to stop right there because he stole my bit. But
did he steal your entire bit?
With Angry Browns fan.
Did you have a Browns song? Do it though. Just do it.
Yeah, we'd rather hear you sing.
That was it.
Oh,
that was the whole bit?
I thought you were working on something for us this week.
Yeah, well, no, I'll get together with Angry Browns fan, but that was it. It was just, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere except Cleveland.
That's a great point, Craig. Craig, what's your take on yesterday's game?
Well, first of all, I want to talk about just the good things.
Okay.
It's the greatest time in the history of the world to be a sports fan because I'm driving back from Indianapolis yesterday. My wife's driving. You know, I want to let everybody know I was being safe, but I'm using my sling box to watch that awful Browns game. So I didn't miss a snap. I want to start with the good things. As a sports fan, I don't miss a snap.
Craig, are you noticing that from any radio commercials? I don't know if you ever noticed that.
I heard some.
There's a pitch guy in town for
radio.
Slingbox.
Yeah.
Not sure who he is.
Is there somebody who talks? Is it?
I have no idea.
Is it on the AM dial?
All I know is that right now I could be watching something other than us on my phone.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm very curious. When you guys talk about the Browns, what's the hypothesis? Where do you start from? Are you starting from, hey, Cleveland Brown fans deserve better? Are you coming from, hey, I need to analyze this objectively to see where this team is going and what they can become? Where does your perspective start from?
All right, you go, Mike. You go first, then I'll answer this question.
You know, for me, Craig, I think it starts from, first of all, where is this team going? Well, what direction is it going? And I just don't mean the losing direction. I'm talking about the future of this team. I've already the fact that 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we're talking about them going to Cincinnati in a meaningful game. You lose back-to-back division games, then you lose to the worst team in the NFL. I start to question the direction of which way this team's going. The fact that they didn't bring in a quarterback when they needed a quarterback, and when injuries started mounting. So I started to question what they're doing in the front office. I'm wondering if they've lost a little steam on that objective. And then at the same time, what do you expect from this team moving forward? It is what it is at this point. So I kind of look at it as what the direction that they preached. Are they staying in that direction? Are they still going that way? Or have the wheels just fallen off the cart and we're all going to have to hold on like a Cedar Point ride until it's over and the season's gone and we're talking about the draft?
All right, here's where I am with the entire franchise right now. I've got big circles around Mike Holmgren because when I see Brandon Weeden on the field, it should just say Holmgren on his back because it was saddled with a quarterback that never should have been a first-round pick. I feel bad for Brandon Weeden in the fact that if he was a third or fourth-round pick, no one would have the same scrutiny that they do on him right now. But because Mike Holmgren thought that it was a great idea to pick him in the first round, it changed the way and it backed into this whole perspective we have on quarterbacks here in Northeast Ohio. Way too much pressure for him, for a guy that was too old for the spot in the first place, and that the clock on him was faster than any other quarterback. Now, looking at this team with an honest kind of look at it, they went at the defense this year. Is the defense as bad as what we've seen for the last 2 weeks? I don't think they are. I think the defense is going in the right direction. I'm wondering why some of the numbers are down, why we're not seeing as many sacks as maybe we should be, why we're not seeing that all-in defense. I think there's some things going on there, part of which I think the defense is on the field too much. The offense is a mess right now. You know you've got one legitimate superstar on there, and he's hanging by a thread, and people are talking about him getting traded at the trade deadline. That's how dysfunctional the Browns are right now. They've worked on the defense. The offense is next. That's going to happen next year, and let's move forward. My big fear is that Chud and Norv Turner and Ray Horton have no control over what's going on with this team right now. and that Joe Banner will make all the personnel decisions. That's a mistake. Chud's got to have the freedom and the creativity and the wherewithal to know what's going on the field. And that's where I am right now. I like what Joe's done with the franchise as far as a business and where he wants to go with the business. Chud needs to be the head coach, and I'm concerned that, and I don't even think it's Mike Lombardi. I think it's Joe Banner saying, you'll take this player. So when a contract negotiation comes up with Alex Mack about whether Alex should be back next year, Joe's going to look at his matrix, see the center, and say, well, Alex wants outside of my matrix, and he's gone. I don't see it. TJ Ward might be the same way. TJ needs to play a little bit better, too. But I see Joe Banner looking at this hard matrix saying, my players will fit into this pay range or else they won't play for us. What do you think, Craig?
Well, I think the same way you do. I think that they've set up this entire franchise in the best way that we've seen since 1999. I think Joe Banner is the most qualified executive we've seen since Carmen Policy, and probably even more qualified than Carmen Policy was. But at the same time, the fact that they didn't achieve a reboot in this losing culture, the fact that I think they didn't even meet reasonable expectations of Browns fans for this season. I think they're in fear of not winning those 7 to 8 games, 6 to 7 games. I don't think they could be favored in another game down the stretch, maybe the game against the Jets, maybe. And I think that's a failure. I think regardless of how smart they look with all the other moves that they've made, they've failed in a fundamental way by not winning enough now. That's not to say that they should have sold out everything in the future for winning today, but they have to go hand in hand. And I think they're missing half the equation. I think it's a failure for Browns fans. I think it's a failure to even guys like Alex Shiner and the business folks who are trying to reboot the stadium culture. Those guys can't do it if the team is losing 3 in a row, including 2 at home.
It's a great point. Craig, what's going on waitingfornextyear.com?
Oh, we'll be talking about all this, the Brown stuff in particular, of course. We also talk about the Cavaliers and the Indians. So not just Brown stuff, but I did get my Dawgs on the Run T-shirt.
I saw that.
So.
Look at that. Looking good, my man. All right, sing us out.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere but Cleveland.
Craig, thank you very much on the Wayside Furniture Skype hotline. We've got a couple other places. Eric, where do you want to go? You want to go to Slimans first? You want to go down to Florida?
Let's go to Florida first.
All right, so we're going to go down to Florida on Skype 1 is what we like to call it. This is William Dodson, Indians Rocks Beach, and he is with the Browns backers of Indians Rocks, or what's it called?
Right, Browns backers of Indian Rocks Beach.
Oh, that was easy enough. Yep. See, sometimes I try to make things too hard for me. Love the artwork behind you. It makes us feel like we're in Florida this morning. How big is your Browns Backers Club, and tell us a little bit about what you thought of yesterday's game.
We started this club actually this year, and we're in the Tampa area, about 25 miles from Tampa, a little beach town. And we started out with a little club, and we were, as of this weekend, we're up to about 35 members.
That's awesome. And you had 35 angry members yesterday, I'm sure.
Angry members, yeah. It wasn't real pleasant yesterday.
What did you think of the game yesterday?
I think I was very disappointed in a few things. Number one, Brandon Whedon's implosion again, or should I say, is that Derek Anderson's little brother? I'm really not sure. I don't know how you throw yourself out of a game in 2 minutes, but he managed to do it.
Yeah, a minute and 21 seconds, I think it ended up being. You got 13 points in a minute and 21 seconds. I've never seen an implosion like that. What was the reaction from the Browns backers as they kind of watched that whole thing unfold? And then what were some of the comments about the direction this team's going and what needs to be done?
Well, I think yesterday one of the problems is that we had is not only, Derek's implosion, but the people in the club weren't very happy with the defense. I think we've listened to Ray Horton speak all year about the defense and how it's improving, how it's getting better. And I'm not saying we have an awful defense, but it just seems to be when we really need it the most, when we need to get off the field or we need to stop, get that one last stop, we can't seem to pull it off. And I think I'm very disappointed in that because I really seen since the bye week, there's no attitude on that line. I mean, we have a great defensive line. We have one of the best defensive lines in the whole league. And yet, we're not getting any sacks. We get no turnovers. And I just don't see, I know we have some guys working hard trying, but I'm really calling out the defensive line, and I want to know what's going on there and why we're not playing up to our ability there. I mean, we have to get off the field, and we have to hold people to the field goals. And, you know, if we turn the ball over and we're not always successful doing that, and there's no reason why we're not. So it needs to be, you know, we need to be better there. And I think overall we already knew coming in the injuries we had at running back that we weren't going to run the ball real well, especially after the trade with Trent, although that looks pretty good at this time. And I think the overall, I think we know we're missing a few pieces to the puzzle. And are we going to draft well enough and pick up a few free agents in the offseason to complete that puzzle? So that remains to be seen.
William, thank you. If you have family down in Tampa, or there are other people from Northeast Ohio that are watching today that want to be in the Indian Rocks fan club, Browns backers, what do they need to do?
They need to sign up, or just give me a call at 816-215-0161. And we meet at Slice Pizza Bar down here on the beach. It's a great place. We have the whole patio out there. Food's great. Everything's awesome there.
I'm down. What's the name of the pizza place one more time? Tell people to go there for the game.
Slice Pizza Bar.
Outstanding.
It's SLYCE.
There you go. Easy. William, thank you. We appreciate you waking up so early in the morning to talk a little Browns football with us. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, pretty cool stuff. William Dotson checking in from outside of Tampa. All right, we're going to go to, you want to go to Slyman's next there, Eric, the referee?
What's that? Yeah, we're going to go to Slyman's
All right,
with
we're
Danny.
going to Slyman's. Danny, our good friend Danny's at Slyman's. Hi, Danny.
Hey, guys. How are you guys?
Oh, we're good. They're packed there this morning, huh?
What's that?
It looks like they're pretty crowded there.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty crowded here. It's, you know, people are, you know, in their usual splendid mood after a bad game. But, you know, I don't think it's such a bad thing, guys.
Well, what do you give me? Why is it not such a bad thing, Danny?
Well, we're under the cap. They spent a lot of money on the defense last year. The defense is not bad at all. They stay on the field too long. Hopefully they'll put some real money into the offense. We'll get rid of a couple of number 18 possibly. Josh Gordon's wonderful. We'll get us a new quarterback, God willing, in the draft. And hopefully Whedon won't play much. Maybe Hoyer will come back and give us a little bit next year. And you know what? Even though we're crazy and we want to win so bad and it kills us and it breaks our heart, I think they're moving in the right direction. I mean, it's so frustrating. But Whedon shouldn't have been picked. He couldn't play baseball and he couldn't play football. All he's got is a hard fastball and no brain to go with it. And it's sad because he's a nice kid, I'm sure.
But Danny, you know, you obviously are very optimistic, and we've talked to a lot of people today that not so optimistic. I mean, they're angry. They don't feel the team is, even though the team we think is going in the right direction with the way they're set up, the framework of it, what we're seeing on the field, it's certainly not coming down from what they had hoped, or it's not, I guess it's not transferring to the field is what I'm trying to say. So as a Browns fan, as this season unfolds and it's winding down, do you have any faith that this team's going to be able to at least turn the corner from this point on?
No, absolutely not. If you can't beat Jacksonville with Chad Henne playing quarterback, I'm amazed. I mean, at the beginning of the game, we looked good. You know, Whedon's throwing long bombs to Gordon, and they can't cover them, and they make the adjustments, and we don't. So I don't see them getting any better, honestly. It's frustrating. I felt bad for Hayden. He got burned on that last play, on that last touchdown pass. And, you know, he took it so hard. I just don't want to lose the guys that we got that are good, you know.
Hey, Danny, who are you sitting with right there? Who's the guy drinking water with the beard? And what's his name?
This is my son, Brian Silverstein.
Hi, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
Like we talked to Brian there for a second.
Go Browns.
Brian, you know, it's December. You can shave that beard off right now. November is when you're supposed to have it.
I was going to, but it's been so long, I couldn't find my razor.
What'd you think of the Browns game yesterday?
Well, you know, the third quarter is their worst quarter. Like whatever they're doing in the locker room there, they're not keeping the motivation, the energy. They're not coming back on the field, doing the right things. You know, so whatever prep is going on in the locker room, the focus just really has to be coming back on the field and getting that ball in the end zone and keeping it going and making sure that they're not losing their edge.
All right, sounds good. Your dad's a good man. Sounds like you raised a good son, but please get a razor blade, man. You need to shave.
You know, I'm out here this cold Cleveland winds. You know, my skin can't take it. I gotta have some kind of some kind of something.
Thank you. All right, put your dad back on the line.
All right, here he comes.
Thank you,
Take care.
appreciate it.
You guys
All
want me to walk around and see who else is
hey,
here?
we're good. We're like so far behind this morning. It's okay. We appreciate it. Your son's a good kid. We told him to shave, though, just so you know.
So, Andy, I'm waiting for my shirt. Still
You don't have a
gotten it.
shirt
Gave
yet?
you my-
You know
No,
what?
no.
Hang on. Eric, the referee, that's your bad.
That's a
No,
flag
no,
on
it's
you.
Paul's bad. He's his college roommate.
That new
He's
shirt.
leaving him out to dry.
That new
right now.
shirt. Yeah, that new shirt you had on Facebook looked really cool. I'd like to have that
All
one.
right,
That's the
we'll
only
get you
reason
two.
I'm bringing it up.
We'll get you one for you and one for your son. All right, we're going to run because we got to play Rate the Browns. Okay, thanks, Danny. Appreciate it.
Okay, buddy.
Talk to you soon.
Take care,
All right,
guys.
Danny. All right, time to play Rate the Browns. And, of course, we'll bring back in Kenny Rhoda. And then on Skype 1, looks like he's ready to go rob a bank. That would be Matt Wilhelm.
I am robbing a bank.
He looks good. Seriously, you look like you just walked off some kind of he looks like he walked off a movie set. And that you total badass.
He's looked like he's coming from a P. Diddy concert right now. He just walked out. He's looking good.
You do
Hey,
have
Wilhelm,
badass.
how about those Buckeyes? You know me, I'm ready to get my workout on, that's all.
Oh, that's true. All right,
That's
we
true.
got our grade boards out. We're going to grade the team. We don't have any hoopla for that, do we, Eric? Any hoopla for grade the team?
We do, I think.
We do. It's not worth it at this point. We're
All
already
right, yeah,
past
we're
it.
way
All right,
behind. Good, good point. All right, I'm gonna go a little.
Hang on one second. Let's do this first. I want to grade the team, and first, I want to talk about Joe Hayden's passion.
Yeah, great is locker room speech right
All right,
there.
well, do you want to play it one more time? Can we do that? I know it's going to take a second to set it up. So, hang on. First, Matt, did you hear what he said
He's
after
ready.
the game
Let's
yesterday?
play it.
I did. I
Okay,
did.
hang on. So you heard, and Kenny, you clearly heard, right?
Absolutely.
All right,
Without question.
One more time for everybody who's on board. We're going to get a chance. We're going to grade what Joe Hayden had to say after the game. Here's one more chance to hear it unedited.
They did their thing. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, bro.
Joe, it's been a tough 3 weeks, and you're a good guy to get the read on the room. Can you?
I don't know, man. I don't know. We fucking can't stand losing. It hurts. I go out there, put my fucking heart out there every time. And you know what I'm saying? We end up coming up short. It was my fault right there on the touchdown. He ran a good route, good play, good offense. You know what I'm saying? And I don't take nothing from our D. We out there every time grinding, fighting, and this shit hurts every time we start losing. You know what I'm saying? It's just, we're tired of it, and there's nothing we can say. You're going to come with the same questions every week, and I'm going to give you the same answers. We're going to get better next week. We're going to get better next week. Until we do it, then there's nothing else to talk about. Straight up. Good? All right.
All right, so we're straight up. We're good. Kenny's here. We got to get Matt back in the line for a second. Again, Kenny, I want you to grade Joe Hayden not on his game, on his passion after the game. Go ahead.
You know what? I have mixed feelings about it. Yeah, it's great to see that he's upset, but 2 weeks in a row, he's been part of the problem. What's he saying there? Is he blaming the offense for all the turnover? He'd say, well, it was my bad. I gave up the touchdown and everything. That's 2 weeks in a row. He gave up a big play that led or helped lead to a loss. So he cares, but he's making mistakes like everybody else. So I don't really understand what he's trying to. It's great the emotions there, but give me that emotion in the game, not in the locker room in the post-game press conference. Give me that emotion coming out of the locker room at the start of the first quarter, at the start of the third quarter, when you're up and all you have to do is get a stop with 3:55 to go and you win the game. So I don't know what grade to give him because I'm not sure what he's trying to say.
Well, give me a grade on his emotion.
His emotion, I'll at least give him a grade. I just made this up. It's the first time we had to use an A in a while. On emotion, yeah, it's great to see that he cares, but let's take it out to the field and make plays and show us you care by making plays.
All right, Mike, what's your grade on Joe Hayden's emotion?
Well, I agree with what Kenny said. I mean, I think Kenny just summed it up right there in that last little bit. I give him an A on his emotion. I give him an A on his passion and his love for the city and the fact that he wants to win so bad. But if I need to see the same emotion, passion out on the football field, because let's face it, we're not having that locker room rant if he makes that stop on Cecil Shorts III.
Amen.
We're not having to worry about playing that 6 or 7 times a day. I want to see a scoreboard that says the Browns have more points than their opponent and win a damn game at home. That's what I want to see.
No, I'll buy it too, but when it comes to emotion after the game, I'll give him an A. And that's like a Star Trek A too, not like a regular A, a Star Trek A. I like doing those instead. I mean, the guy gave it everything he had emotionally after the game. And DeQuell Jackson said after the game too.
After a loss.
After a loss. Yeah, I hear you. Look, I'm not going to disagree with you guys. He's got to step up. You can't, and the bigger thing for me was talking to Sam after the game last night. That is the most basic defensive back play you can make. You can't let that guy get behind you. You can't. And I think, excuse me, the issue is he thinks, and they were saying this, that because he's a special defensive back and he's good enough, he thinks he can do it. You got to stay home in that spot. And
do your job.
Yeah, and he just had to do his job.
Yeah, but let me ask both of you guys real quick. So is that the answer, that you have Brandon Weeden? What if he goes to the podium and he almost cries and has the passion that he had a terrible game and so on and so forth? Does that let him off the hook?
No, because Joe Hayden has been a part of wins, and Brandon Weeden has not won a game as a starter. So I don't. Brandon Weeden doesn't have the same luxury that Joe Hayden does. Hang on, let's go back to Matt Wilhelm. Matt, grade the passion of Joe Hayden from yesterday.
I mean, you got to love the passion as a player. I think that, he exemplifies what the Cleveland Browns organization is trying to achieve and what this fan base really feels. And, I think Joe, having been here through a very, very tough stretch, is just sick and tired of losing. And, I talked about it yesterday. It comes a time when players like him get so fed up with losing that their mind starts to wander into a contract year, which is post next season. And they're thinking about, hey, I can go make the same money or more money somewhere else because I'm sick and tired of losing. I just want to win.
Good stuff. Kenny, you were going to say something else. Go ahead, Kenny.
Well, yeah, I agree with Matt. You don't want to be with the losing organization, but then make some plays. Help turn that organization around. You're a first-round pick. You're an all-pro caliber player, and we're having a great season up until the last couple of weeks. What's changed over the last couple of weeks where you've given up key plays in two of the three consecutive losses?
All right, let's go on to the next subject. Eric, do you have a subject that you're burning for us to do, or do you want me to keep doing this?
One more question.
Sure.
I want you guys to rank the quarterbacks of the Browns right now. Who would you rather have 1 to 4 with Hoyer healthy?
All right, hang on. We got to write this down.
Oh, that's easy.
Well, I know, but we're just trying to make it visual for folks.
Oh, okay.
And
Rather have Tanny or Weeden right now as your third quarterback?
well, why don't we just ask that? Who would you rather have as your third quarterback? Here's mine. I mean, this is my sloppy
Show us
handwriting.
yours.
Hoyer, Campbell, who, and then Weeden. Who doesn't matter. Who does Tanny, whoever you want to bring in, it doesn't matter. Hoyer has set the stage for him to at least have an opportunity next year. Hold on to your side. Let's go to Wilhelm first. Matt Wilhelm.
I've got. I'm going to flip your bottom 3 and 4. I'm going to go Hoyer, Campbell, Weeden, Tanny. I think Tanny is he's a YouTube sensation. Other than that, he's never done anything on the field. And I think that Brandon Weeden, again, as you guys, we all should know, he did enough in training camp after his campaign after last year's campaign and this training camp. He did enough to be named the starter. So that's for a reason. And I think he's got to be our number 3, even though we know we're not going to win a lot of football games with him at a quarterback.
Matt, let me ask you this, because you're the guy in this conversation that's been there. 1, is he anointed the starter, or did he actually earn it? Because I've heard stories about the fact that Hoyer was the best quarterback in camp, and that maybe they were just trying to make something out of nothing.
I believe that is true. I think that, because he's the first-round draft pick and had an opportunity to start last year, he was anointed the starter, and they were going to give him one last shot to prove well or to prove bad, and obviously we know what has happened.
Even with the thought of going into a season knowing that he may not be your best quarterback.
It's difficult. And again, that's why the frustration, I'm sure, is really riding high in the locker room, because those defensive guys that went against those quarterbacks each and every day and got to sit there and watch practice probably know deep down that he wasn't the best guy, but ultimately the organization, management, and the coaches made that decision to kind of give him his last-ditch effort.
Don't let me forget, I'm going to come back to you. I want to ask you about Alex Tanny again. But go ahead. Give us your quarterback answer, Kenny.
Hoyer and nobody else. The other guy's gone. See you. So long. Cut him. Love the angry fan video. Brown's angry fan video. He's right. Get rid of him. Cut him. The only one that's worth bringing back next year is Hoyer, and hopefully Campbell's healthy this week to play, because with the concussion that Weeden reported after the game, and that's what they said he had, maybe Campbell. I don't want – come on, Tanny. What, are you going to put garbage cans out there on the field and have Tanny throw to some garbage cans? Does that count for points? I don't think so. So
they can play some good
hopefully
defense.
Campbell comes back and he starts next week.
Have you ever gone up against Rubbermaid before? Rubbermaid's tough.
I have not, and I don't look to do so in the near future.
Go ahead.
I'm going to go Hoyer, but I put a big space between Campbell and Whedon because I'm with Kenny. Next year, these guys, I'm taking them off, and you got that guy. And then you build. You got that guy, meaning Hoyer, and then you build behind him.
And guys, let me admit this. I didn't think much of Hoyer before this season. He was played for 3-4 different teams. I didn't like him a lot at Michigan State, but he obviously learned something under Tom Brady, which is a good guy to learn under, and he came in. He surprised me. I would have loved to have seen a bigger sample of games for Hoyer to see if maybe he could be the quarterback moving forward. But after what I've seen from all the other guys, he is the quarterback moving forward unless they take somebody high in the draft.
Let me ask you this, Matt. When Alex Tanney comes into the locker room and now he says, I kind of regret doing that YouTube video, is he kind of a joke when he walks in the locker room?
He really is. I mean, he's got I talk about all the time. It's, your resume or your body of work. And when your body of work consists of, a YouTube video, which a bunch of 13-year-olds probably viewed and liked, doesn't bode well for your multi-million, billion-dollar organization in the National Football League.
Interesting.
You can't really much add to that. I mean, he won a Super Bowl and a national championship. He's been in the locker room. I mean, that's what's going down. That's what's going down.
Matt, when you're hearing on the radio and TV that there's Tanney mania out there and that people want to see Alex Tanney because they don't believe in Brandon Whedon, and it doesn't help when your head coach comes out last week and said, well, this is our guy, and we're going to stand behind him. Whedon needs more support from his coaches, too, whether they believe in him or not.
He definitely does, and I talk about it all the time, and I'm sure that since Brandon Whedon has been pulled as the starter because of injury, and then both Hoyer and Campbell have gone out there and competed and won some football games for the Browns. I'm sure there's a huge elephant in the room in the locker room as well when you don't want to get stuck with yourself and Brandon Whedon in the same training room at the same lunch table because it's probably just awkward because everybody knows he's not the guy. Like Kenny said, it's highly likely he's not going to be here next year. And so, this guy's not going to win you football games, even though he's putting out his best effort at the National Football League level. It's just not good enough.
Matt Wilhelm, have a good workout. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. You need my address for that iPad mini? Thanks, bro.
He sees the iPad mini commercials, bro. He's like, where's my iPad mini, man? Hey, nice job last week at the Kruger Cares Foundation event, too.
Thank you, bro. I'll see you guys soon.
All right, we'll see you soon.
Go Buckeyes.
Go OH.
Yes, sure.
This old IO. Yeah, he hung up on us. Let's go back to, there we go, Kenny. And just kind of wrapping up on this whole grading the team, what's left, Kenny? What's left?
At least 3 losses, maybe 4. That's what's left. You've got New England at New England, and 3 out of the 4 games are on the road.
Yep.
That's a loss. I'm looking up here at the schedule. After New England, the Bears at home. That's the last home game, and the Bears are battling for a playoff spot, so that's going to mean a lot to them. I think their best chance to win is at New York against the Jets, who are Jekyll and Hyde, kind of like the Browns. You never know what you're going to get. And the Steelers, with everybody that lost yesterday, even though they lost on Thanksgiving night, still have an outside shot at making the playoffs. So that last game is going to mean something to them. So what are the Browns? 4-8. You're looking at probably a 5-11 season.
All right, Kenny, hang tight. We're going to come back to you in about 8 minutes, 7 minutes here. I do want to talk Ohio State. I know this is a Brown show and it's Dogs on the Run, but I do think we need to talk Ohio State because I think if you're at water coolers around Northeast Ohio today, you're talking Buckeyes. So hang on. We'll talk about that in a minute. If you want to participate in that conversation, you can too. On Skype at Dogs on the Run, on the phone, 216-431-3820, just like Brian in downtown Cleveland. Hi, Brian.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. We're hanging in. I mean, it's just kind of one of those mornings where you're like, okay, let's get the draft here. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, really. Sorry, my voice is a little bad. I think the second quarter yesterday kind of did that in,
Did you go to the game?
Yeah, I was on the 50-yard line. I was actually in the first row, so I had a nice, good view of 2 interceptions and a fumble by Whedon. And I told the guy next to me, I said, "What is this, middle school stuff?" I mean, you can't do that in the same quarter. But on the same token, I don't know. I'm sure the offensive line can be improved, and some other things. But look, our defense is good, and we have Joe Hayden and what's his name? I can't even think. He did what nobody in the NFL has done before.
Josh Gordon.
So Josh Gordon. We have talent, I think we just need to fill these pieces, get a new quarterback. You know, I was just really frustrated by the second quarter. I mean, I was ready to put in Tanny after halftime.
See, it's funny because I think there are a lot of fans that said, let's see what Tanny can do because he can't do any worse than Brandon Whedon, right? That's why you were saying that.
Right, exactly.
Except for the fact the Browns
you know,
think he can do worse because you got a guy that hasn't been to practice. He's only been there for 3 days. That's what the issue is.
Yeah, exactly. I just hope that, you know, Gordon and Hayden, you know, if they're listening out there, you know, hold tight for next year. We got draft picks, and, you know, fans are still going to be behind them, so.
We hope so. Brian, thank you for the phone call. We're giving you a T-shirt, too. I'm giving it to everybody today. Hang on the line, Brian. Hang on the line. All right, so we got a couple things we're going to do. We have another angry Browns fan coming up